I know sometimes we tend to think while working that we tend to came across some controversies that are actually happening there all the time with these short video formats going on all the time. So it's hard to focus on one thing, and that is actually destroying our concentration skills, and it's already scientifically proven, which is bad. But one of those videos caught my attention, and it was about this woman talking about how she went out from a abusive relationship. And you're going to see me like trying not to spell some words in full, and I'm going to apologize for that in advance, but I want to come up with this. Why is it, why am I going to come up with this? I think it's because we have to give life to things and people that didn't have it, probably will never have. I know someone is going to hear this, but I don't care. Sometimes I just feel the need to, to talk to people, to talk about things, to talk about how you can actually contribute to something better. So it is a video about domestic, and you're going to complement the next word. She had a net that was starting to control everything that she did, and he said that girls are more elegant wearing neutrals, but it was a kind of way of her boyfriend to actually starting manipulating her, and he started like buying things to her clothes, so she couldn't pick what she was wearing anymore. That pushed her away. He pulled her away from her friends, her family, and one day he just took her by the neck, threw it against the wall, and got her out of the house, and she was left almost with nothing. And why do I say almost? Because she had hair. We never are entirely alone. We never are entirely just in zero, because we always will have something about ourselves, and that is valuable. So at the beginning, I said it is up to your perspective to know if this is worthy or not, practically or basically. And I really mean it. Even your opinion is important. Of course, it will depend how important on the person that is listening to it, hearing what you want to say. And this woman I'm talking about, her Instagram account is Adeline Binding. She says, I wasn't going to post this on here. It's a vulnerable thing to share. And I know so many more of you might think the same, practically. Some of you know this already, most of you won't. Quite honestly, I've never wanted to give the moron any more of my brain space. That means her ads. But I've had over 100 comments on this post, and lots more messages from people who are in or have been in the same situation. And they thank me for talking about it. If this rescues one person from an relationship, I've done a good thing. Domestic isn't only physical. Coercive is real. It's a real thing, and it's illegal, and it should be reported to the police with the same weight as physical. And in many cases, physical will come at some point. You deserve better. You are incredible human who deserves unconditional love. And I want to read the comments on this because I think some people needs this space too. The comments I started reading, and not gonna lie, I was a bit like couldn't get out of them at some point. Why is this? Because I think at some point in our houses how we tended to perceive family, how we tended to normalize certain things, taught us something that was wrong. Sometimes we saw a picture of a family that were happy, look happy together, and behind that picture, the reality wasn't what we were expecting. And it happens to all of our lives. We have seen things, we have heard things that would say, like, this is wrong. But what are we going to do about it? Is it right to have it like these kind of thoughts and biases all over the time? Of course not. But at some point, I think it is better first to start accepting that something might not be the best for us, and also accepting that things might not go as we wanted or wish, or that's something that we believe so hard. That's the most one of the most confrontational ones, right? True. So this is one of the comments. An ex of mine knocked me out because I sang in the car. Before him, I sang all day, every day. Then I went quiet. Months later, my then 13-year-old son said to me in the car one day, "Mom, you can sing again now. He's not here." So I have never, so I have ever since. I'm married for the last 10 years. This is another one. To an amazing man, and I have a wonderful family. I still wake up screaming from nightmares that I have caused by my ex-husband. Hopefully, one day, I will sleep peacefully. I found the courage to leave him after 30 years of physical and emotional. Mhm. Stay strong, people. The strength is outside you. Stay safe. Another one. My ex didn't control what I wore, but everything else. Over the years, he isolated me from my friends and family. A hair on the floor made him explode. Could food without meat make him explode? Everything I did wrong made him explode. Him verbally and physically. Until one night, he broke my nose because I came home drunk and threw up in the bathroom. He was livid and just smashed his feet into my face. That was the day I woke up and knew I had to get out of his control, and that still took me about half a year. It took me quite some time to recover. This is another comment. This is how I started to feel. At first, he liked the idea of wearing nice matching outfits, and I was all for it. Then he slowly started belittling my style and what I liked. After a year, I realized, finally, that I would didn't even feel like myself anymore. Another one. I used to be controlled by my former husband. 2 weeks after I left, I cut my hair short. A month later, I dyed it pink. Now my hair is short and purple, and I love being me. Another one. My ex-husband once yelled at me when I went out and bought 2 new bras. I would be wearing all ratty maternity bras for the previous 3 years and needed ones that fitted properly. He was furious that they were expensive, $60 each, which is pretty average where I live for a standard bra. I remember how much it hurt having to try and justify a necessary item of clothing for him. After I left him, one of the first things I bought was a pretty bright pink lace bra. It sounds silly, but I was in tears when I bought it, knowing that I didn't have to justify it to him because he didn't control me anymore. If I sound like I'm struggling to read a bit, I'm trying to go through the spelling sometimes. Some of the comments are like, it's perfect, but who cares? And then I'm going to read them. And I want you to listen to this because I think it is important. This is a new one. When I left my ex, I had a panic attack and started sobbing in the grocery because the friend who took me in told me to pick out whatever food I liked, and I immediately thought all the groceries I would get to make his food. I didn't know what I liked in that moment. And this comment was the one that when I said I need to record this because at one point do you have to even left yourself behind for things like the food that I like to make for myself, the food that I enjoy making for me, the things that I used to enjoy will be single or by my own or just me and my kids. And it's like you're just living in the mind of another person. Like you're not yourself anymore, you are yourself and another person at the same time. But that person starts like occupying that space too much. And at the end, it's just like, hey, where was me? Have you ever had that sensation? Have you ever had that sensation of feeling free while living with someone else? Not feeling yourself and just forgetting unconsciously who you were. I wanted to post it to raise some awareness and also to bring up a important matter because even though you might be alone, it's like a lie, someone telling you like you're not alone. Yeah, sometimes we are. If even like the closest people aren't as close anymore because people tend to isolate us in some cases. For example, in these cases, that is pretty common. That's at some point, yes, we are alone. But let me tell you this, it is possible to get out. It is definitely possible to get out because I want to give awareness, but also I don't want to give like false hopes, like don't worry, it's going to be okay. We never know if it's going to be okay. That's the reality of things. But I encourage you that there's a way for you to get out. What is going to be that way? Life and how everything starts to develop in you as who you are. It's going to approach that solution. It's going to be setting that door for you. Because sometimes the door for you to get out isn't there. Sometimes you need to craft one stick by stick. Sometimes it is there already open. Some other times someone is actually taking you by its hand and crossing the door with you. So it really depends on your life in general. It's not entirely up to you because that will be selfish because we're in a society. We are part of communities. And also the people that just look to the side, knowing what was going on, are also part of the people to blame. So it doesn't have to be 100% up to you. You can try to rescue some friendships. You can try and rescue some family members that you left behind. Remember that probably you didn't even want that to happen, but you just got like so immersed in a bunch of stuff you weren't aware of, and that's totally fine. That's totally fine. So don't blame yourself. That is what I'm going to tell you. There's a solution. Sometimes you need to craft that solution from scratch. Sometimes you might be impressed that there are still people that they're good and that actually want to help. That's awesome. But there's always a solution, or at least an action plan. That is my reality to you. Instead of giving you false hopes, I'm giving you make an action plan at least. Start crafting one, even though you're too scared to make that happen. With a little step that you give is going to be more than enough. So don't blame you if you think you're not doing enough. Don't blame you if you think that you're just too weak, that you're like a bunch of fear and people feel bad about it because that seems like weakness and I cannot do much for myself. It's fine, you're human. We're humans. This isn't your first and not going to be your last mistake. People blaming you or feeling you ashamed of it is just stopping you to take another step in your life. Is it going to be the right step? Is it going to be the wrong one? Who knows? But that's the thing. We try to plan things in order to not make like a wrong mistake. So is that going to guarantee that it's going to work? No, it is not. So that's why it's important to also, if we have like a really tough situation, to talk to the police, any authority, any phone number that could help you, request help or counseling services. That will be totally fine. But at least put that into your plan of action and say like, well, what happens if tomorrow I decide to do this? No one is making like this kind of rushing for you to do the stuff. Don't feel this kind of huge pressure on your shoulders because you already have a lot. You already have a lot. And whoever is listening to me, probably you might say like, yes, maybe not. I know some people that are here in this work society that sometimes sucks. It sucks a lot. They already have enough in their shoulders. Like a burden, it's heavy, but heavy at some point that is suffocating them. If you feel suffocated, take it one little step at a time. Don't put another burden on top of the others. You don't want to get burdened. You want to get up and live the life that you deserve. So thank you for so much if you're staying hearing till this point. I don't expect anyone to hear that, but anyways, have a nice day, have a nice life, and I hope you can get out one day at your pace and of course following up to your necessities. Bye bye.